Hello, my amazing first grade artists. It's time to start another new art project. This week, artists, we are going to be starting some paper weaving by creating what's called op art. Op is short for optical, meaning the eye. And in this case, optical art often is a trick of the eye. As you might see in my painting, it looks like it might go back into circles, but it's just an optical illusion. And that's what we need to paint with our watercolors today, my friends. Maybe you might pick a shape like a circle or a triangle or even a square like I'm going to do, my friends, today to help start our background. That way next art class we can learn all about weaving. So now that we've seen what we're going to be starting, let's go take a look at what art materials you need to start our project. So first grade friends, we're going to be using our new watercolor paint sets today. If you do happen to still have your paintbrush pet or even a bigger paintbrush today, for example, I'm going to be using my nice large red paintbrush. I would suggest that rather than this small little skinny one because that will take too long for what we need to do today, my friends. So I'm going to open up my art folder and I'm going to take out this white piece of paper, my friends. Now, it's really, really important that you pick this piece of paper because this has some lines that are going to help us with our weaving next week. But this is actually the back side of our paper, my friends. So I'm going to write the word back on it. That is not the side that we want to paint on today. So I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to hide those lines away until next week, artists, okay? Now, again, we are going to be using a nice basic shape, something like a circle, triangle, or square. You don't want to pick any shapes that are harder than that, my friends, unless you really want to try a challenge. Now, a harder shape that you might maybe want to try if you're one of my advanced friends might be a heart. But again, if you want an easier shape, pick something like a circle. And here's what I'm going to do with my shape, my friends. I'm going to find about the middle of my paper. It's okay if it's not exactly the middle. And I'm just going to start by drawing a small version of the shape that I picked. Again, it should be nice and small and even kind of light. You don't want to draw it too dark today. All right, I don't need my pencil anymore. I'm going to open up my watercolor paints. Remember to have some water with you and a paper towel. And now it's time to do some painting, my friends. Now, I love doing this painting in rainbow. But, as always, do you have to do the same colors as Miss Greathead? Of course not, right? You can pick whatever colors you would like to use today, my friends. The only color you can't use today is white. If you would like to use brown and black, of course you can, my friends, okay? So, first step, I'm going to paint in that first shape completely. I'm going to try and fill it in with my first color, the very best that I can, keeping it that nice square shape. Now we're going to start creating layers of shapes going out, my friends. Every time, I'm going to pick a new color. You could pick even a pattern. For example, I could do red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, all the way out to the edge of my paper if I wanted. Or, again, today, I'm going to use my rainbow. So I'm going to do red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. As I'm working out, my friends, my square is going to start getting larger, and here's how. My paintbrush is now going to follow the edges of that color. And I'm going to paint another square around it. Now, the hard part about watercolor, my friends, is that some of your colors might blend together. Like as you saw, my red kind of just went a little bit into my orange. That's okay. That might happen a little bit today. It's not a big deal, okay? If we were in the art classroom, we might be using something like paint sticks or more likely our tempera paint, my friends. We'd be painting our shape using those. Now, while you're working today, if you need to, turn your paper to help keep your shape looking like the right shape. That is one of the easiest ways to keep your shape the same on your paper. So there's my next square. I'm going to show you one more as I go out, and then I'm going to speed up this step for you, friends. Okay? So I'll do my yellow next. And with these colors today, my friends, you want to make sure that you really spin your brush well inside those colors to really make those colors start to work, okay? I'll go with my yellow next. And you see how my square is starting to get bigger? It's exactly what we want to have happen. Our shape is getting slowly bigger. again, it's okay if some of your colors blend today, my friends. You can see mine are starting to blend a little bit too. If you are worried about blending, you might wait in between some of your colors and just let some of them dry before you go in and start doing other colors. So I'm going to keep going out right now, my friends. I'm going to keep making my square bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I'm going to show you what happens when my square starts to touch the edges of my paper, what I need to do then. So I'm going to go fast. I'll see you, friends, in a moment here for how to finish it up once your shape is touching the edges. Here I go. So now that I've gotten to my edges, my friends, I need to stop thinking about my square itself and start finishing up the rest of my paper. Because at this point, I'm not actually completely done. Even though I can't make another full square, I do have to go all the way to the ends of my paper with my colors. So I'm going to continue with my pattern. And as you're going to see in a moment here, my pattern not only is going to continue on one side, but I'm going to also use it on the other side as well, that same color, as if that square was there. Maybe just some of the edges and sides of it fell off of the edge of the paper. Now you're going to notice as your shapes start to get bigger and bigger, you will need to use more paint and more water to make your colors nice and solid. We don't want to see any white inside of the colors. It's okay if there's white maybe in between some of the colors, but we don't want to see it in your color, my friends. Remember, we still have to follow those good coloring rules even when we're painting. Now, as I'm finishing this up today, my friends, I want to start talking to you about weaving. Next art class, we're going to use those long strips of paper that are in your art folder to create our paper weaving. Now, there is a very important pattern that we need to know in order to be successful at weaving. And that pattern goes over, under, over, under. So imagine in your head maybe a wiggly line, and how that wiggly line likes to go over, under, over, under. That's the same type of pattern we're going to need to use next week. And it's also the answer to your homework in Seesaw for this week, my friends. On Seesaw, you're going to see that wavy kind of wiggly line, and you're going to see the words over and under. And you're going to want to move those words to make them match up on that line for when that line goes over something or when that line goes under. That way, for next week, we will know our pattern and we'll be able to be more successful at weaving. In the past, I've taught that pattern by having friends use jump ropes. We would line everybody up in the classroom, and one friend would hop over the rope to go over and then go under another one, and we'd do what's called a human weave. Unfortunately, though, we're not in the classroom yet, so if you friends do happen to have some ropes at home and maybe some family members that could help you with a human weave, that's one way you could practice the concept as well, my friends. For now, though, I'll finish up my painting, and I'm going to need to let my paper dry before I can put it away in my art folder, artists. But here is my version, so that way I am done with my op art part. Again, next week we're going to need this paper. We're going to need to be able to cut it up a little bit, and we're going to need those long strips and some glue so we can do that over-under kind of weaving pattern. For now, though, friends, I have to do a little bit of cleanup, and maybe you might have to as well. But I will go ahead and say my BYE, and as always, have fun creating, my friends.